Hello and welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Match Day T20. We can't wait to get the discussion underway. RCB against Mumbai Indians. The Indian captain taking on his able deputy in the IPL. None of that matters. All that matters is getting some points on the board, and both Bangalore and Mumbai have failed to get any in their first game. Mumbai are used to this. They don't like starting the IPL with points. Bangalore, on the other hand, don't want to fall away from the rest. 2 losses. That would be the first team with 2 losses. So, which should be an appetizing contest, match number 7. And we will build up to it with Deep Das Gupta and Brad Hodge. I don't know at the Chinnaswamy Stadium if tosses are as important as sometimes we say the Eden Gardens. But Hodgie, now that Bangalore have won one and they'll be bowling first, how significant is that?
Well, I think it is, because I think going on the statistics from memory, I think batting first success rate's about 16 games and chasing's around 64. So winning the toss is pretty important. But the dynamics of the pitch has actually changed a little bit since those first few years.
Yeah.
But I think the RCB and Virat in particular will be happy chasing.
Yeah, but the other part is obviously you would want to chase, but batting first, you also have the opportunity to score huge runs and kind of bat the opposition out if possible, because it's a high-scoring venue. The pitch, as he mentioned, is back to its normal self where the ball comes down to the bat. So yeah, there is an opportunity batting first, score 219 like yesterday, and kind of take it away from the team chasing.
Yeah, we're just talking about the update from the Chinnaswamy that Virat Kohli's won the toss and he's going to have a bowl. As far as team news goes, Bangalore are unchanged, which is a good thing, because sometimes that sort of start, you might start thinking of whether you got a lot wrong. But Deep, fair to say that this team, even though they were bowled out for 70 and it was probably one of the worst starts you can hope for as a team in the IPL, there wasn't much wrong with the combination?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the batting side, obviously you can't blame the bowlers for that. I mean, if you look at the batting side, they're like a gun batting side. Parthiv, Virat, Moin, AB de Villiers, Shimron Hetmyer, and all of them are very attacking batsmen there as well, including someone like Hetmyer who's playing his first IPL. So, I mean, Shivam Dube, I mean, he's brilliant as well. He's known for hitting long balls as well. So, yeah, I mean, not surprised they haven't changed.
And the key is for this newish team to actually play a few games together. So, it's a good thing that the boys at Bangalore have decided that they're going to keep the same combination.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. I mean, you can't really take too much into the first game. The conditions really dictated the performance there. But look, for me, I'd just like to see a little bit of a change in that batting order there. I'd love to see Hetmyer move up to number 3. I think Moeen Ali's more of a flexible player. He can move down the order if need be. But I just want to see this youngster just put right in the deep end, get out there, the ball's going to come onto the bat. Free your arms, young man, and have some fun.
Okay, we're not going to talk about more in detail on Bangalore's batting order. We're just waiting for confirmation of Mumbai's team news. But before anything, let's just confirm that Jasprit Bumrah was marking his run-up and seems to be set for a game today. We do know now that Lasith Malinga is also getting a game, so he's slotted straight away. We thought maybe Malinga wouldn't make the 11 just immediately, given he's just joined the squad. So from what we're hearing is that both Malinga and Bumrah play. That's a big one.
It's great news for Bumrah. Not so good news for the RCB. But look, it might have been a bit of a giveaway, given the fact that Lasith Malinga stayed back for these couple of games that he was going to play. I mean, that might have been part of the contract or the discussions with the Sri Lankan Cricket Board. So, he's come in. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. I mean, he's still a formidable performer, especially if the ball swings early, and his death bowling is only going to complement Bumrah's.
Out goes Ben Cutting.
Yeah, that's
let's just look at the 11. Look at the 11 now and have a look, because they've also brought in Mayank Markande, which is the other big one that makes it. Rafiq Salam moves out, and so too does Ben Cutting. So that's the team that they've gone for. Deep, all yours.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like quite a few match winners if you look at it. Lasith Malinga, Jasprit Bumrah, 2 top death over bowlers. Then you have McClanahan, who also is a death over bowler. So they've actually got that the fast bowling side spot on there. And backing obviously Malinga, Bumrah and everyone else. But also Markande, I mean, that's the next factor there. You just put a leg spinner there. It's a gamble. He can go for a few, but also being a leg spinner, he can pick up a few wickets as well.
I think that was a little bit of an X factor that they missed last game. Makande with his spin in particular, especially the Wankhede where he's had some success. This ground's a fraction different, but I mean Chahal's had some serious success there as well. It's just one of those ones where if the game's getting out of control, you can just throw it to your leg spinner and something will happen. It always
And
happens.
Markande's had a good domestic season as well. He's bowled really well with the red ball as well. So he's there in that test arena as well, in that framework for test match cricket. So it'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, Lasith Malinga comes back straight into this team. If you're wondering what sort of form he's been in, now there are some versions of Lasith Malinga. One that was closer to the IPL last year when he couldn't get a buyer in the entire tournament at the auction. And then since 2018, there's been a statement that he's sort of made, an average of 20, economy of 7, strike rate of 17 in 23 T20s. And he's not had bad numbers in ODI cricket. You take 5.69 at an average of 30. So he, again, almost like the bowling equivalent of Dhoni, Deep, that he may not be able to do what he did 7-8 years back.
But still good enough.
But he can be he can be solid utility.
He's still good enough, I can tell you that. And listen, I mean, that experience, that does matter a lot. Now, if you have Malinga, Bumrah together, you have that luxury of, bowling one of them in the middle overs as well. So, I mean, that's huge. And McClanahan, obviously, I mean, he goes for a few, but he's known to pick up wickets as well.
And this thing about some internationals just finding a shot in the arm when it comes to the IPL. It works. It's true, isn't it? It's not just folklore.
Oh, look, I think for Lasith, I think he was a bit out of shape last couple of years. So just to let it go, he's been doing a number around the world circuits and been performing at the best. And I guess sometimes you just get to a stage in your career where you just go, I've had enough. But he's found the love again.
True.
And he's back. He looks a lot fitter than he was. And
also it's a World Cup year. So everyone's looking forward to being fit for the World Cup. So that whole preparation, for someone like Lasith Malinga, the preparation must have started 6-8 months ago to get that fitness going and, the form going as well. So yeah, he's looking good. He should be good, yeah.
Okay, and there's also that slight personal incentive of proving to not just the franchise you're playing for, but to the rest of the IPL that there may be more in the tank for somebody like Lasith Malinga. Let's get you involved on the Malinga conversation on our Facebook page too. If you're watching on our live video, will Malinga have an immediate impact for Mumbai? He's been drafted straight away. There's a bit of they were playing musical chairs with his availability with Sri Lanka cricket. Eventually, they've sorted that out, and it seems like the ball's firmly in Malinga's court if he'd like to stay for the entirety of the tournament, because Sri Lanka cricket have made it clear that he is at liberty to miss the entire domestic one-day competition that they've mandated for the rest of the team to qualify for the World Cup. Malinga is, of course, the ODI captain for Sri Lanka, so keep that at the back of your calculations. But if Mumbai need him, that's the call that he could make. Right, let's move on and talk a little bit more about Bangalore's batting order. Hodgie already tossed it up that it's not necessarily a bad team, but it's about getting their combinations right. I don't know if it'll depend on how much they have to chase, Hodgie, but if you have to simply identify roles for who's best in what position, I think your first point would be that Hetmeyer needs to bat as high.
Yeah, I think so. Just for a youngster that's got a huge talent. He's done well in India in the one-day and T20s. He's also done well in the CPL at that higher spot. I'm just nervous about him coming in around, not playing a role that he hasn't done before. And for me, Moeen Ali is a little bit more flexible, so he can move up and down the order. The other one which might affect Virat Kohli himself is having AB at 4. So when they've had such a good partnership, so he might come up to number 3, Hetmeyer 4, Moeen Ali 5. But for me, Parth Patel opening the batting, it needs to be partnered with some heavy artillery at the top, and Hetmeyer provides that heavy artillery.
So you're saying Hetmeyer, let's just look at Hetmeyer's numbers first, position-wise, to give you an idea of where he might find himself comfortable as a youngster to bat in different positions. Now, as far as, let's focus on the strike rate. Very good at number 3. That's where he's got most of it. It's still very early days in Shimron Hetmeyer's career. You're saying Hetmeyer, Parthiv, top 2, with Virat Kohli 3 and maybe AB 4.
No, I'm saying he should slot in the number 3.
He should slot in at 3.
Yeah,
right.
Look, I can't see another spot for Parth Patel, unfortunately, if he doesn't open. So that's a bit of a conundrum.
That's
for the
thing.
RCB,
If you have Parthiv, you have to open with it.
But you know what, I like Virat at 3. I like Virat at 3 to manage the middle overs. I just have a feeling when he opens and he's kind of feels obligated to go harder than he usually does.
Oh, he had a prolific season opening deep in 2016.
He does, but I still have a feeling that 3 number 3 is most suited for him. I'm going to differ a bit with what Hodgie mentioned. I'd rather go with Moeen Ali, go hard at the top, whatever happens, because this and especially this surface, you might be looking at 200 and all. Go really hard with Parthiv, Moin, and then you have these two guys, at least ABD and Virat, to control.
Let's go the other way now. Let's see Moin Ali. Hodgie says he's flexible. Deep says why not have him open with Parthiv and then see. He's actually got his most number of innings in 2020 cricket opening. Struck at 168, so he's got the game to go at it. You can see 3, 4, and then it seems like Moin's the kind of player that gets shuffled around depending on who else is in that team. So he's got the game, and he certainly has the numbers in a reasonably small sample size to open. Why are you not a fan of that one, Hodgie?
Well, other thing is that the two left-handers at the top might actually make it a little bit more predictable for opposition bowlers. Not that Mumbai have got an off-spinner in their lineup, but for future reference. For me, they're a little bit too containable. I like to see a little bit of kamikaze atmosphere at the top. We saw yesterday, Sunil Narayan, it just creates panic. And for me, Virat and Parthiv, they're such gifted players, but they're elegant players. Yeah. And they're not someone that will get 20 off and over. Yeah. They'll get 12, 14 consistently, but I don't see it running away. For me, Moeen Ali is a little bit untested as well. So I just think that the more time you give to these bigger access players, the better.
So finally, what's your call? You're saying Parthiv along with?
Well, I think in this case, Virat's going to open.
But in an ideal situation,
I sort of do agree a little bit with Deep that number 3, when you know that the class player is still waiting in the wings, it does lengthen your batting. Virat will probably want to get out there and face the new ball, but it just needs a little bit of jigging. If you have, even if you put Hedimar or Mohan to open, you've got Virat 3, then AB 4. If you don't get an early wicket, you're staring down at some big runs.
All right. Let's have a quick look at just Virat and AB's batting positions, because that'll help you get an idea of how good they are. And Virat Kohli has opened 42 times in the IPL since 2015. That's why he got heaps of runs in the 2016 season. But we know he's gifted at 3. That's why he bats for India. So there's every chance that that's an option for RCB too. AB de Villiers, maybe there'll be a slight... he can bat anywhere and smash it, but we'll just see where he smashes it more than other positions. Strikes at 164 at 3, 161 at 4, 244 at 5. So good luck. Take your pick. This is the last few years. So I guess it's about figuring everyone else around. Because AB's that good, he'll manage. He'll manage. Yeah. All right, keep your eye out on Parthiv Patel. If he continues not getting the runs, that'll make life a little harder, because Virat Kohli sometimes goes according to how Parthiv is going to the other end. Let's talk about Bangalore more in detail. Big season for them. They have been considered as one of the perennial underachievers of the tournament. They've never won the league. They've made 3 finals. So can they maximize their home advantage? Let's talk about the expectations for Bangalore. It started this year with Gautam Gambhir already firing the first shot and saying, there's a bit of pressure on Kohli. Anyone else wouldn't have had this job and whatnot. There could be some pressure from an expectation. Look at the profile of this team.
Yeah, it's been there from day one. From day one, they've always had a really good side. So it's just that they have underachieved over the last 11 seasons so far. The expectations will always be there when you have Virat and ABD. But this year around, if you look at that side, it looks more balanced. You've got fast bowlers. Before that, you didn't have the bowlers. You depended too much on Virat and ABD to fire. Yeah. And when they did, and Gale for most part of it, when they did, they won. When they didn't, they couldn't win too many games. And end of the day, you still have to pick wickets. In this format as well, you need bowlers to win you games also.
They were very top-heavy for a long time. You know what I mean when I'm saying this is a high-profile team. There are many teams, but this team with superstars, expect more?
Look...
Or have they continuously messed up their squad?
No, look, the thing is, it's a tough competition to win. And there's only one team that can win. I think they've been pretty successful as a franchise over the history about, getting into finals and getting an opportunity to win it, just that they haven't done it with the superstars that they've had. This one looks like there's a little bit of less superstars amongst it. Look, I think they'll be certainly waiting for Marcus Stoinis to arrive to give him a little bit more firepower and some flexibility with the ball.
Again, there'll be very limited number of games that Marcus Stoinis can play.
That's a bit of an issue. And I'm not sure whether they're waiting for that in terms of Hetimar or the Gronholm, I'm not sure. But for me, they need to start well. I think they need to get some points on the board, because the demons of last year will come back to haunt them for sure.
Home form is big. Now, the Chinnaswamy Stadium, as much as we keep talking about Bangalore and their support and all the people that show up, they've had some real loyal following, perhaps second only to Chennai. But as far as the actual record goes, that crowd has gone home more disappointed than they have happy. That's 13 matches at home since IPL 2017 and a win percentage of just 38, which is the poorest in the IPL. I'm not sure what explains that.
The toss maybe?
It has been a fluctuating pitch in terms of behavior.
Yeah, I mean, last couple of years, especially
Yes.
18 and 17, I mean, suddenly overnight the basic nature of the pitch changed. Before that, it was a high-scoring game. Last couple of years, it was like 140, 150, and they didn't have the team actually. They just had one spinner in Yuji Chahal, a regular spinner, so to say. So obviously they kind of struggle there, and also the toss. I mean, you know, surfaces like this, the toss becomes very important, and if you're not winning too many tosses, that can affect your win percentage.
2017 was the year that they had a bit of a surprise with how the pitch behaved at Chinnaswamy. We'll just have a look at some numbers. Pace against spin since that year at Chinnaswamy Stadium. So in IPL 2017, the average first innings score just somehow dropped. It's like a great market crash or depression where it goes to 140, expecting it to be high. It's back to 187, and there are a lot more 150 plus totals. They have won the toss today, so put that in your calculations. But at Chinnaswamy Stadium, if you compare spin and pace, IPL 2017, we're just looking at the Pacers average at 19.5, spinners average 20. IPL 2018, you nearly double that. You double that for the Pacers and the spinners at 29.9. It actually goes to show that Umesh Yadav had an incredible season.
Look, and that's an issue because when you come to your planning and preparations and picking your squad and who you're going to go to, if you don't know what your home ground advantage is, it's hard. And I understood that last year, moving from Punjab, which is a big ground with a good wicket, to indoor, which is tiny. And, you know, you structure your side on what you think is going to be your home ground. I think this is a bit of an issue for, in that little period where the pitch did turn sour. They've always had a strong batting unit. They've always believed they can chase down 200 every time. That's changed a little bit. You can see that they've gone to some bowlers.
And I believe 2017 was their worst year as well. 2017 was RCB's worst year.
Right.
Yeah, that was the worst year.
Could very well be. How much of, I've always wanted to know who decides the pitch. Is it you leave
No,
it
the
completely
issue with
independently to
Chinnaswamy,
the state association?
No, what
No,
happened?
they relayed the surface,
they relayed the
so all the
surface.
moisture came out of the wicket. So when they relayed the piping
outfielders
underneath
were-
and stuff, so what happens is that the moisture in the outfield sucked all the moisture out of the pitch and it became
So there's
dry.
very little you could actually do to
Same
fix
case
it
with
that
England. I mean, it's all sand-based now, so it takes away all the moisture. I mean, it's brilliant for drainage, but it takes all the water from the pitch as well.
But going back to your question, can they maximise their home ground advantage? There's no doubt they can. I think they've got a good pace attack. Chahal's there, and you've also got Virat and AB who have a great record at this ground, so they'll be quite confident they can.
All they need to do is win now, and they won the toss. So that's a good start for Bangalore for the 2019 IPL. Let's move to the result of our first poll before we get to our next talking point. 81% of you think Lasith Malinga will have the immediate impact for Mumbai that he's had in recent times in his return in international cricket. It'll be a romantic idea if indeed Lasith Malinga is to be the same force, or at least similar to the force he was. As far as our next poll, Bangalore or Mumbai? Those are the two reactions, the wow reaction for Bangalore and the haha reaction for Mumbai. So get busy if you're watching on our live video on our ESPN Cricinfo Facebook page. Now, Bumrah being part of that 11 along with Malinga might just work to Mumbai's advantage. So let's talk about the Bumrah factor. We thought in the build-up to this game that he may not be fit. We were all fearing the worst when he went down on the last ball of that innings against Delhi. Just have a look at his numbers. It wasn't a happy return for Jasprit Bumrah, who also I think wouldn't mind missing the opening game for Mumbai in IPLs now, Haji and Deep, with what's happened in the last couple of years. But would you call that an aberration, Haji? The way that Bumrah was spanked around by Pant, you're not going to see that pretty often?
I don't think. I think there was just two gifted players having a proper shootout, and Rishabh Pant won, which is not surprising because they're of equal excellent talent, aren't they? I mean, it's amazing. The Bumrah factor. I mean, there's no batsman in the world that actually wants to face this guy in any form of.
But if I just want to be sort of devil's advocate, right? You had Dwayne Bravo smack him around, you didn't expect it. You had Pant smack him around again. Good pitch, small ground, all that. When he goes, is there something that you'd like to see even a bowler of his class excellence try and do? Did you see enough short stuff, variations? Is he not getting the Yorker in as much as he did? Anything that you could say that would make you understand why someone of Bumrah's level gets spanked around?
Look, it might be there might be a number of different reasons, but it might be his training regime, so he might have to back off and he's just playing games. So when he had a proper training regime in the nets, he'd probably practice bowl 30 or 40 Yorkers a game. But now that you're under restrictions, that doesn't happen. So he leaves it to in-game. I think he needs to use all his variations: bumper, slow ball, Yorker. I mean, I remember seeing in that test match where he deceived Sean Marsh with a slow ball.
That was a peach, wasn't it?
They're the tricks that he's got. I think the more tricks you actually show, the more creative and destructive you are.
But the other thing, you've got to understand, this format, everyone will go. Every bowler will go for runs. I mean, now how consistent you can be. I mean, every IPL, Bumrah goes for 1 or 2 matches out of the 14. That's how good he is. So maybe that was one of those games, and he's not going to go maybe another game in the next 13 or games.
What about how much someone faces Bumrah? His fellow Indian teammates may face more of him than most other opposition. Pant's been part of the setup. You have Kohli today. Would it make it easier to face Bumrah in the nets? Would it be a different beast?
Comparatively easy, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not worried about the unique action that he has because they're used to it. But Bumrah, the reason why he's so successful is not because of his action, it's because he's smart. So he knows how to bowl to different batsmen. He can read the batsmen, assess them, assess the conditions. So that will not change. So I think, we make too much of about his action, but he's been around in world cricket for a while. So by now, almost everyone is kind of used to that action. So he's much, much more than just that unique
I can see a thought on your mind.
Yeah, it can even hurt you. I remember batting in the nets for Australian practice and facing Mitchell Starc in the nets. And he tore me apart, and then we played against the New South Wales Victoria shortly after, and I was going, oh no, not again. So, it can have the same effect as well. If you face a bowler that tortures you in the nets, shortly after, you're not having good thoughts, you're not having positive thoughts.
Well, I like what Deep says. It's not just about the action, it's that Bumrah has got the brain to make that action significantly more effective. Now, at least half of that job has been got right by youngsters bowling in the Bangalore nets. We're talking about Mahesh Kumar here, who's been on social media and been active on it, because the kid actually has done a very impressive job of aping Jasprit Bumrah's action, and he seems to be landing it in a decent spot too. Now, viewers shouldn't try this at home. It's one of those videos. But this could happen, and this will happen. If Bumrah becomes this icon, he's already become a superstar player.
Absolutely.
More and more kids are going to ape him.
The great example of that is Anil Kumble. Before that, your leg spinners would be round arm, very Shane Warnish kind of a thing. Suddenly you see Anil Kumble's success, and almost every leg spinner that you see now are high arm with a high arm action. So when someone like Bumrah gets so much of success, you have people following people like that.
If you're a coach training kids at that under 16, under 17 level, suddenly you see guys wanting to line up and try and bowl like Bumrah. Would you try to coach them out of it or try and make it happen? Because you know full well how hard this is.
Well, that doesn't look natural. For Bumrah, it was completely natural. So for every bowling coach around the world, they'll be thinking, get your arm up, jam it down there, get your full pace. So he's actually done a great job. I actually remember being in the nets and practicing trying to bowl like Sayed Ajmal, but I never got that social media. What's going on? I could have been the 300-game champion at bowling off spin.
You really want to take this conversation forward? Right. Let's move on, shall we? How do Bangalore fix their death bowling woes? That's another. We saw the numbers that they've changed since 2017. Again, runs are being scored, and Umesh Yadav was a very firm force with the new ball. But who is going to take responsibility with the old ball? We didn't have this conversation expanded in the first game because of how the game panned out against Chennai Super Kings. But in the poorest run rate list in the death overs since IPL 2018, you are Bangalore, technically bottom of the table, but top of the table in terms of the worst run rate. They go at 12s. So who's going to do that job for them? Navdeep Saini has now been drafted in.
Navdeep Saini, Siraj.
Yeah.
And maybe an over from Umesh as well. So they've got 3 options now. That's the good part. And that's what I mentioned, the fact that now they also have the bowlers to do the job. It's a lot more balanced now.
Yeah. You like the look of Navdeep Saini from what you saw. I know you're a big fan. You still think he could be a wildcard entry very quickly into international cricket.
I agree with Deep. I think he's an absolute awesome prospect. So, anyone that bowls at good pace and makes an impact, hurries a batsman, moves it around, got a good bumper, Yorker and slow ball, you're in good shape.
What's the challenge to bowling at the death of the Chinnaswamy though? It's like Mumbai, it's like...
I think holding your nerve. I really think holding your nerve plays a big part. I mean, they're big numbers, 12 and a half and over. I'm not sure how they're going to improve from last year because it's going to be much the same. It's a tiny ground to defend, but you've got to hold your nerve. You've got to back your strengths.
And clarity. I mean, you're gonna get hit. I mean, as long as a bowler you're ready to get hit, you're fine with it. Once you start panicking and then start thinking about getting hit, that's where you start making mistakes.
What about the use of the Yorker? That's something that we from the outside keep looking at. Who can execute the Yorker best? We got some numbers for you on that as well. So maybe that'll give you a better idea of how a bowler needs to go about it. Like Haji says, holding your nerve, one part of it. Executing skill, like Deep says, for a Yorker is equally important. The other thing is who you're going to have in front of you. Today, the length of the batting is reduced with Ben cutting out. The most Yorkers bowled in the IPL. Bumrah at number 1, and he's managed to bowl 40 of them, economy of 3.6. So, no surprise, if you get the Yorker right, you'll do well. Mumbai, on the other hand, a quick word on as the openers walk out, they've got rid of Ben cutting.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So they have batting till 6.
Yeah, that's when Yuvraj is in that, and we know Yuvraj is part of getting the runs.
Yeah.
Quick pace, and there is pace in this team.
Right. So, I mean, again, a lot will depend, and I hope Rohit starts the way he generally starts for India. Takes its time. He doesn't really have to go very hard at the top because he has the game. He has all the shots to kind of compensate for a slowish start. So I just hope he takes his time out there because Mumbai needs Rohit today to fire because of the batting strength that you mentioned.
Big score to chase, but huge investment shown or huge faith shown in Yuvraj Singh to send him at 4. Are you expecting that today, Haji? Would you like to change that up?
No, I think they'll keep him at 4. I actually think that 50 will certainly give him some good confidence going into this game. He would have been nervous last game, there's no doubt. He didn't have a great tournament at all last year. So that 50 will give him some good confidence. He needs time. Yeah. So, going at 4, it just buys him a little bit of extra time.
Very well. Let's go to our Fab 4 contest. Swindon de Kock takes guard. Rohit Sharma's at the other end. All right, Haji, you can have a crack first. Deep went first yesterday.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I'll take these two at the crease. I'll take Rohit and Quinton de Kock. I'll take Krunal Pandya and
3 Mumbai balls.
And ABD.
All right, Deep, all yours.
Virat. I'll take Virat. I'll take Bumrah. And you've picked up most of the Mumbai Indians batsmen. I'll go with Krunal. You've picked Krunal.
You can go Hardik.
Hardik. I'll go with the other brother.
Okay.
Virat, ABD is picked. So
Virat, Hardik,
Bumrah.
Would you go Malinga? Would you go Umesh?
No bowlers.
No bowlers.
All right. Try not to pick bowlers.
Hetmeyer, Shivam Dubey.
Hetmeyer.
Yeah, you're going with Shimran Hetmeyer. Right, this should be fun.
Nice.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. This sets it up quite nicely. Let's have a look at what you think, Mumbai or Bangalore today, what's going to happen. And our Facebook poll is complete. It's close. It's 52-48. So we'll figure how good that looks at half time. Before that, at the 10 over mark, we'll give you a match update. We'll tell you what our forecasters suggesting. So join us for that as well on ESPN, as well as our Facebook page. For now, the story from the Chinnaswamy, Mumbai having a bat, both teams in search of their first win of the IPL.